I'm going on with about my approximate third week of no contact with my narcissistic mother. And recently something's happened in regards to my oldest daughter. And it has something to do with my grandson's father's mother, which is my grandson's other grandmother. And like I said, for publicity purposes, I'm not going to disclose names. But my mom, narcissist, is really at work. According to my oldest daughter, she had recently informed me that the baby's, or I say my grandson's father's mother, which is, like I said, his other grandmother, uh, my narcissistic mother has completely turned her against my daughter and me, my oldest daughter, which to me doesn't come by surprise because she really had some desperate measures and really have this woman manipulated and completely turned against me and my daughter. Um, but I want to just refer to her as grandmother number two for reference. So this grandmother two, um, she's really completely manipulated by my narcissistic mother, and according to my oldest daughter, she told me that I should have not written that letter, and how and I can see it from here on how my mother operates is really she'll sit there. Her plan is to read that letter and expose that letter to as many people as she can and have them turn against me. I already know that. And um, grandmother number two doesn't even want to talk to me. So, it's like I said, this goes to show, and it goes to prove to you that my mom is definitely a narcissist. Definitely. Um, and it's really a shame. And, it's really a shame that she can't sit there and listen to both sides of the story, but my mom has, my narcissistic mother has gotten her so punked, if you want to call it, got her so scared punk, it's not even funny. And so, if they really, I knew it was my mom's manipulative ploy to try to force my oldest daughter's hand and say, well, now that you and the baby's father have always had turns, um, alternating visitation like every other weekend or whatever, now you have to now that I have grandma number two's involvement and I got her manipulated and turned against you, now you have to uh, turn that kid over to her when it's her turn to when it's her and her son's turn to have my my grandson, and then she can sneak over there and against my oldest daughter's wishes for my narcissistic mother to see my grandson. So I already know that was a trick. And really, what's so funny is that grandma number two told my oldest daughter that she was going to go pick up my grandson, and that she didn't have any problems watching him for my daughter's work week. And so when she came by my daughter's place yesterday, then she really changed her mind and said, well, I'm going out of town for a couple of weeks, and I said I'm not going to be able to watch your son, you know. And so right there I knew that my narcissistic mother was behind this little trickster plan. So it's really amazing how quickly I caught on. And I expected and saw it coming. But, me and my oldest daughter were going to join forces, and we got friends and resources in high and low places. So if they think that they're going to sabotage my daughter and her arrangements for babysitting, it's going to completely backfire because God's going to lead us in the right direction. And God will put people in our path. And you know what? God has really, really answered my prayer for a good friend of me and my daughter. And I asked God to have her contact Chelsea, and she was really the last resort to be able to watch my grandson for the week, because this week I have knee surgery, so I'm going to be unavailable for a while. So from here on, I have to take care of me. I'll help and guide her the best way I can, but if she really wants to go in the right direction, she knows she has to listen to me. I wouldn't ever steer her wrong. And, I kept thinking over and over in my head. I said, I expected this. I expected this out of my narcissistic mother, to really try to turn things and try to force my daughter's hand. And she's going to find out real soon that that's going to backfire. And we have our own sources. And who those sources are, I ain't going to say. And, yesterday I went to my high school reunion of 25 years. And I saw my sister, my so-called biological sister, that's next to oldest to me. And kind of find out there were more people talking to me than her. And people were a lot more receptive towards me. And she's been to just about every reunion. I mean, the 5-year reunion, the 10-year, the 15, the 20-year. She's been to all of those. And I haven't even attended any of them until now, this one being a 25. So basically, I sent her a message and said, hey, I'm not afraid of you. I'm not afraid of you at all. And I was well prepared, because if she were to try to start anything with me, luckily I had my fiance with me to have as a witness in case she were to start any crap. And I know her address to a T. So, I'm several steps ahead of her. I'm also several steps ahead of my narcissistic mother and her sick daughters, which I try my best not to refer them as my sisters, but biologically they are, but deep down inside they're not. So, they're the ones with the problem. And I know day by day, I know my narcissistic mother's doing everything she can, everything in her power, to really try to force my daughter's hand and try to force me and provoke me. Whether she does it herself or that her daughters try to provoke me some way, somehow, to where I would get so mad and pissed off that I go after them and beat the crap out of them, and it's bye-bye medical field. And you know what? I'm not falling for it. I'm a lot more smarter now. A lot older, a lot wiser, a lot smarter. And I know how to beat them at their game every time. And I know that this is going to be a long, hard-fought battle. There's going to be many tricks involved. I know my own narcissistic mother that she's going to try her darndest to try to use the law, children's services, welfare, you name it. I already know it. And she claims that one of her daughters knows somebody in welfare. Well, you know what? If that person's not my caseworker, that person has no right to access any of my records or my case or even my daughter's case. Right away, I have nothing to worry about that because I already took care of that. I've already disclosed and I've always kept them updated with any changes, so that way they have no power over me. They can't manipulate me. They can't sit there and try to scare me and threaten and hold anything over my head because I know what they're capable of doing. Like I said in the last video, you have to think like a very, very vindictive person. You got to really ask yourself, if I'm going to be a vindictive person, if I really want to screw somebody's crap up and destroy their life and make their life a living hell, what would I do? You got to think of every single scenario, every angle possible. And you just prepare yourself for each and every one. So then when they step in it and think they have you, you really got them. To me, narcissists can be outwitted. I mean, I'm well aware of their tricks. I'm well aware of their manipulative stuff. I really am well aware of that. And I'm already several steps on how I'm going to counteract it. And basically, I just told my oldest daughter, I said, any time you go to the store for groceries or you go, like say, thrift store, Walmart, wherever, when you buy clothes, whatever, you better keep a shoebox and put every single receipt. I don't care if it's a receipt for a piece of gum. Any type of receipt, you hang on to it and you throw it into a shoebox and you save those. Because right there, that's going to show that you're providing for your child. Because my narcissistic family, biological family, especially my mom, because they done it to me, and I know they're going to do it to her, is that they're going to come across and say, well, you know what? You're not buying for that kid. You're not getting this kid clothes. You're not doing this. You're not doing that. You're not providing. And I told my daughter to start saving receipts. Grocery receipts, any kind of receipts. I don't care what it's for. I don't care if it's for cleaning supplies. Save those receipts. And I couldn't stress it enough to her. I said, you can beat your narcissistic grandmother if you really want to, and if you really, really, really listen to me, because I've been down this road with you and your sister. I've been down this road. And at that time, I was easily scared and intimidated by her. And she used the law and children's services, welfare, you named it, she's done it. So just gaining wisdom from that experience, I know she's going to do it to my oldest daughter, and I'm even more prepared and more wiser now. And like I said, I've looked back and said, those are scare tactics. And you know what? I'm well aware of them. And I know she's going to use those same exact scare tactics to my oldest daughter in regards to my grandson. And I stressed it to her in a letter that you are not going to interfere with my oldest daughter raising her son. And she's going to find out real quick and real fast. We will use every extent of the law possible. Every extent of the law. Because I'm going to do everything that I can on my own power to protect her and to protect my grandson. And above all else, above my own wisdom and my own experience, God has to be the number one priority for him to be involved. And he needs to be involved first. And I know that he will lead me and Chelsea in a direction where he wants us to go. And I'm going to turn to him every chance I get. Because as long as I have my faith, they can't take that away. And as long as I have my faith in God, then they're nothing. My mother's nothing, and neither are her daughters. They're all powerless against me. Because I have God, and like I said, I got God, I have everything. I have everything I need. And He will provide. I ask, He provides. He knows what I need before I even say it. And what's so funny is that this good friend of me and Chelsea, my mom basically shot herself in the foot years ago when she had came by to see my oldest daughter. She was living with my mom and dad at the time, and my dad spoke to this good friend of ours, but then she snubbed my mother. And our friend's the kind of person, she's very good at seeing through people. And we have no worries whatsoever of my narcissistic mother or even her daughters to try to turn her against us, because you know what? I already know her. She's going to say, hey, that's between you and Chelsea and Mary. I'm not getting involved. I already know what's going to happen. And this lady is a very good woman. And I know that she's a Christian. She's got a good heart. And I can really thank Facebook for really reconnecting me and Chelsea back together, along with also our good friend's daughter also as well, because her daughter and my daughter were very good friends. And I know everything's going to be okay. We have nothing to worry about. I can't help but to admit that I still get some fears through my head saying, okay, well, we've countered after her bullshit with her manipulating grandma number 2 against me and my oldest daughter, along with the baby's my grandson's father. And the thing about it is, we have some trump cards that we have at our hands to play, and we're ready to play them at any time. So there's got to be plenty of you out there that can really, really relate what I'm talking about. How narcissistic people just love to just turn people against you and act like they're the victim. And you know what? Thinking back, when my oldest daughter had told me that my narcissistic mother had read over the phone that whole entire letter, the no contact letter that I've sent to her and that I have shared with you on the past couple of videos, I can see it right now without even being there and knowing how my mother operates. I know, and I can smell it from here, that as she read that letter to grandmother number 2, that I know that she's sitting there crying. Those crocodile tears, the pity cry. The pity party right there at the same time she's throwing a pity party. And you know what, grandma number 2, you're a fool. She's got you punked. And you sitting there saying, I have no right to write that letter. Who the hell do you think you are? I guarantee you this. Why don't you live in my narcissistic mother's house for a month and see if you still feel the same damn way? Then you'll really know what the hell we're talking about. But right now, I know she's basically got you really manipulated and saying, oh, well, Mary and her daughter, They're delusional, they're sick, they don't know what they're talking about. I'm her mother, I did this, and I raised her daughter, and I did that. Oh, really? Okay, Mom, you want a star, you want a cookie? That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to raise me. You're supposed to do those things. But you know what, though? You sure in heck did not do a very damn good job of raising me. I had to lie to get my first job because of you. Because you sat there and you just gave your twin daughters from the previous marriage the best of everything, and even now, I still resent them. I still do. Because you and both of them, you and them stole my freaking childhood. And yes, I have a lot of resolved anger. And speaking of unresolved anger, my past therapy session a couple of days ago, I really thought we were going to go over a letter, but we actually went over the homework assignment of what I wanted to accomplish out of going through therapy, and I believe I read that in the last video too, so I won't go over that. But we went over each one of them, and then she just said, well, pick one that you really want to work on the most. And I chose to heal the wounded inner child, because that has to be paramount above everything else. And so she gave me another assignment, and it's more like an anger journal. Like anytime I feel angry, I gotta write the date, the time, what happened, rate my anger from a scale of 0 to 10, and I have to keep a journal. So anytime that I get angered about anything, and yeah, I would say I would rate the anger of her manipulating grandma number 2 against me. I would have to rate that at a 7, because she was just so daggone foolish to sit there and fall for my mom's bullcrap. And like I said, my mother's already got her programmed, already got her brainwashed. And I was like, you know what? I would just love to just tell grandma number 2, live in my mother's house for like at least a month or 2 and see if you still feel the same way. Still see if you're going to take her side. Then we'll see. Then you tell me. And yes, I'm very angered about that. And I kind of spent a good part of the day in it of just letting this stuff eat at me. We did have some people in mind to watch my grandson, and unfortunately I know I can't watch because, like I said, I have surgery coming up this week, so I would be completely unavailable and I have to take care of me. And she understands that, but thank God for the resources that He has given us and the people that He's put in our path, and I'm just so thankful that God came through and really provided a solution for watching my grandson. And my daughter is so stressed out about all this. She says, "Mother, I feel so stressed out." I said, "Well, let me tell you something. This is how narcissism works. This is how they work. This is how they operate. They want you to be miserable because they thrive on that. They get off on that. They really get off on it." And I'm beginning to realize that I don't really care what my mom says after that letter. She could sit there and broadcast it all over town. I can care less. I could really would care less. Because I'm going to show her she has no control over me. And if God wants me to work for a certain employer, ain't no devil in hell can stop him, not you or anybody. None of your daughters, anybody, no devil in hell, can stop God where He wants me to be, as long as I obey Him and I do what He tells me. And that I honor Him first above all else. And so all I had to do is just look up to Him and not my problems, because God's going to take care of it. And talking about this, like I said, it's very therapeutic. And I need to also, please excuse my apologies, but from not even introducing from the first video on, but I'm not a doctor. But the reason why I'm doing these videos is to really, really share my experience of what it's like, of what my life was like with a narcissistic mother, and why my life has been so messed up. Because it held me back. I held myself back, and I'm realizing it's not my fault. That it's her fault. She's the reason why my thinking and my confidence and self-worth has been all fucked up all these years. And I'm just now getting therapy. I'm aware of everything. I'm aware of what the abuse that I've been subjected to for years. And I know her daughters are going to do nothing but sit there and just deny it. And of course, I know they're going to sit there and say I'm delusional. I don't know what the heck I'm talking about. And I said, well, I expect that type of reaction anyway. It's typical. Because now, reacting like that really confirms to me all of you are just a bunch of narcissists. Sick and twisted. And it's so pathetic. Because if your lives weren't so pathetic and your lives were so happy, why would you care about what goes on in my life? You would care less. You wouldn't even have time. You wouldn't even care. If you really say you're going to live your lives like I don't exist, then why do you even want to know what's going on with me? You know? Because I'm having a good time in my life, and I can care less what you guys think of me. You guys have no power over me. And you know what? For all of you that have better jobs than me, and believe me, I've done my research, and I think a few of your jobs, I believe some of your jobs require a degree, and none of you have a college degree. None of you guys ever went to college. So it's either you somehow messed over some people or lied about it on your resume. And you know what? I don't have to lie on my resume, because I do have college education. And I'm more than just have college education. I have 2 degrees. Not 1, I have 2. And I can sleep at night. And I have my transcripts to produce if they want to verify it. I could sleep at night. You guys are going to spend the rest of your life looking over your shoulder, wondering if the other shoe's going to fall and hit you in the head, and finally realize, hey, oh, you guys are catching up. You guys just done verified my education and found out I didn't have any. I know that's what you guys are thinking. Yeah, but at least I can sleep at night, and I can proudly list my degrees on my resume, and I can prove that I went to school. I have my transcripts. I mean, anybody can sit there and produce a fake degree, a fake certificate, but you can't produce a fake transcript. So the joke's on you. And I know that I'm going to be at a level that none of y'all can ever reach. And my time to turn the tide and to have God and to receive God's favor, it's coming. It's on its way. All I have to do is keep praising God, and just keep trusting him and just keep my peace. Just maintain my peace. And you know what? You guys can't destroy my peace. The old saying that knowledge is power, and believe me, I may not have Wi-Fi, but don't think I can't get access to the internet. Because I look stuff up, I research, believe me, and watch lots of YouTube, so I'm very well empowered with how narcissism works. And the more that I journal, the more videos I do, the more therapy sessions I go to, the more assignments that my therapist assigns me to, the more stronger I'm going to be mentally. And none of y'all will never be able to get into this head ever again. But it's going to require me healing this inner child of me that's still wounded and still scared. And if this doesn't go away like that, it's going to take a lot of work on my part. And I even remember telling my therapist at the last session, I was like, you know what? You're therapist, you're my therapist, but your job is to give me the tools that I need to use to empower myself to repair the damage that I suffered mentally by my narcissistic mother and sisters, or I should say, and her daughters. That's your job. That's your job, and my job is for here to receive those tools so I can go utilize them. And you know what? She completely agreed. She loved my analogy of it. I was like, well, I mean, you're the therapist. You're not going. I don't expect for you to wipe my ass 24/7. I'm old enough to wipe my own ass. All I ask is you give me the tools and you tell me what I need to do with those tools, and I want to take off and run with them and do it. I'm going to do the work. You just got to give me the tools, and I'll really go to work. Because I want my life better. I want, like I said, I want to be able to heal this wounded inner child. I want to be able to strengthen this. You know, and I'm going to get there. It's going to take time. It's going to take time, but I know it can be done. It can be done. It will be done. And I have nothing to be afraid of. But I have to admit, and I got to be honest with myself, yeah, I'm scared. And I know that there's a passage in the Bible that sometimes you just got to do things afraid. But God gives you the strength to keep going even though despite that you are afraid. And I know God's with me right now, facing all this. And I don't mean to sound religious, but my faith is strong. You know, I say it could be stronger, yes. My faith isn't where I'd like for it to be, but I say it's better than what it has been. And it's stronger than what it has been. And, you know, I'm nothing without God. And He's going to help me through it. With therapy and empowering myself by reading and watching videos and, you know, receiving God's wisdom to handle every possible situation that will ever get thrown at me. Because I know, hey, this is the beginning of a war between me, my oldest daughter, my narcissistic mother, and her daughters. It's going to be a long, drawn-out battle. I know it, I expect it, and I know my oldest daughter is very stressed out about it, but I know that if she just keeps confiding in me and we link our heads together, that we'll be able to figure out, we'll be prepared for almost everything, and above all else, above all that we both have faith in God, and He will lead us and direct us, so we can be able to get through any possible situation that ever gets thrown at us. And really, that's how you really can recover from narcissistic abuse. You have to have, number one, faith, and also empowering yourself by watching YouTube videos, and not just watching my videos, but all other videos that a lot of people are going through the same thing I'm going through, and it just feels so good that I'm not alone. That's the best part. That's like, my goodness, I couldn't really believe that there's so many people that's gone through what I've gone through. I didn't really realize how dysfunctional families can really be. All this time I always thought that most of your families were normal, and families help each other and they build each other up and not tear one another down. And believe me, my my narcissistic family is completely opposite from functional. They're completely extreme dysfunctional. Very dysfunctional. And I know it's going to be a long, hard battle, but God's with us. He'll lead us. He'll guide us. And we're going to win. We're going to win. And we have some trump cards up our sleeves. Something that they can't trump. Something we can prove. So, it feels good knowing that you have some reinforcements. And I might try to make another video before my surgery. If not, it may be another week or so before I can feel up to making another video, but I don't know how I'm going to recover with the surgery. I know I'm in good hands. And yes, I'm a little scared. But I'll get through it. Each and every one of you that's a victim of a narcissistic parent, I do feel your pain. I do feel your pain. More than you'll ever know. And all of us people that's on the same boat and that's empowering ourselves, that's overcoming this, we all can relate what you're going through. And it takes a while to really realize that you were a victim of a narcissistic parent, whether it be a mother or a father or both. It takes time. So please, by all means, don't beat yourself up. It's better now that you realize it now than never, or they always say better late than never. So, I'm going to wrap up this video for now, and I may just take a week off because, like I said, my surgery is coming up in a couple of days, and I need to focus on getting ready for my surgery, and also recover from it. So I'm going to be very, very, very daggone occupied in recovering, and I'm going to have plenty of help. So I'm not alone. I have a wonderful fiance that I love so much, and he knows what they're all about. And what's funny is that they cannot manipulate him against me. nor my oldest daughter. That's what's so funny, because he also is the kind of person that can really see through people, and he's very good at reading people, so he knows what they're all about. So I have nothing to worry about. My new family that God has given me, that's blessed me with, already know. They already know what my narcissistic mother and her daughters are all about. And my new family can see right through them. All of them. So, okay, I'll wrap up this video, and I say, for those of you that's hurting and suffering like I am, I feel, like I said, I do feel your pain. And like I would say to you, is just to take care of you and be true to yourself. Keep reading books, watching videos, keep researching, Google everything possible. Empower yourself. Because knowledge is power. And once you got that power, nobody can take that away from you. So right now, I'll end for now. And I say, take care and God bless.